Welcome to Be Still and Notice, a yoga podcast. Join me, your host, yoga and meditation instructor Helen Taylor, to dive deeply into the vast ocean of wisdom that is yoga. Explore with me how these ancient practices can help heal and elevate us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in an ultra-modern world. Together, we'll deepen our practice, explore our connection to divinity and our own inner landscapes with the help of special guests, guided meditations, how-tos, and oh, so much more. Yoga has the incredible power to change your life on every level, and it all begins with stillness. Now let's begin. Hi everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3. And in this episode today, we're going to be talking all about retreat, what it means to go on retreat, how often we should be doing it, and is it possible to have a little retreat at home, or do we have to spend thousands of pounds and travel halfway across the world to experience that feeling of nurturing and nourishment and withdrawing away from the everyday? I hope you enjoy the episode and see you after. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. I hope you're doing really well. And first of all, apologies, because this was meant to come out a week ago. I've had a couple of weeks on holiday, and then my first week back last week just flew by. So apologies, we're a week late coming out, but I really hope you're all doing really well. I had a really good break. It was intense. I can't say that I was lying on a beach just relaxing. I think that needs to come at some point soon. But today I'm going to be talking about retreats, and that's because I've just come off a really incredible shamanic retreat, which at some point I will share more about with you. But for now, let's just say I needed a week off after this retreat. I was advised to, and I'm so glad that I did, because I needed that time for rest, integration, and just to really allow myself some thinking and feeling time before heading back into the great wide world. So it was a really beautiful 4-day shamanic retreat in Somerset. Absolutely amazing. And then the following week, after my week of rest, I went to Dorset and saw some family and scattered my dad's ashes. So that was quite intense, a lot of emotion, a lot of energy. So it's been quite an intense time, but also really meaningful, really beautiful, and well worth doing. So here we are with this week's episode, and it's Diwali, so happy Diwali to you. It's such a beautiful festival, and I hope that I encourage everyone, even if it's just to light one candle, to celebrate light, the triumph of good over evil, the triumph of light in the dark. It just means so much on so many levels. I think it's absolutely stunning, and one day I'm going to be in India in Diwali so that I can just soak in all the craziness and all the beauty, and really celebrate this lovely festival. So I've just done a little video on Instagram. I've filled my little diya, my little ghee lamps. These are little ceramic pots that I bought when I was in India in 2020. And you fill them with homemade ghee and with these little cotton wicks. and especially for Diwali, it's very traditional. And the light of a ghee lamp is something very special, and it's meant to be incredibly cleansing. It's very sattvic for your environment. So thank you to my teachers for showing me how to do this. It's a really simple and really beautiful tradition. So I'll be doing that later on tonight. So today we're talking about retreat. And what does it mean to retreat? What is a retreat? Are you going on retreat? Have you been on? Are you an avid yoga retreater or any kind of retreat? And do we need to travel halfway across the world and spend a lot of money? Because let's face it, the specifically yoga retreat business is booming. It's big business. Some of these retreats are thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. So do you need to spend all that money? Do you need to go to a different country? Or can you do a little at-home retreat? Can it be just as beneficial? We'll be talking a little bit about that later on. So first of all, what does it mean to retreat? So if, in this, in our modern era, when people say retreat, they do think going away to a different environment, staying in a different place, and basically concentrating on you, your well-being. And when you look it up in the dictionary, it means to withdraw to a secluded space, a secluded place. And it has quite religious connotations. So lots of retreats originally were designed for meditation and prayer and done in silence and seclusion. And still now you can go on lots of silent retreats. Now you can also do these darkness retreats, which sounds super interesting, really interesting, where you're in the dark with no lights for 4 days at a time, I think, 4 or 5 days, just like being reborn. So why is this need to retreat? Why as human beings do we feel this need to retreat? Well, I think more and more as our everyday lives are just getting busier and busier, even with all this technology, they are getting more and more intense, and we feel more and more overwhelmed. Carving out this special time for you, and this is really key. This is when you go on retreat, it's not about anyone else. It shouldn't be. It should, in my mind, be literally about you, your well-being, and what you want to achieve from this retreat. And that's something so special and so beautiful in itself, taking time just for yourself. And literally when you go on retreat, it sends a big message to everyone around you. It says, I really care about myself. I'm taking time away from my everyday life, from work, from social and family responsibilities. I'm taking time just for myself. And I think that's so powerful and so beautiful. So it literally does mean coming away from your everyday environment. No work, no social obligations. It's coming away from your everyday routine. And quite often, I think that's why a lot of people want to get out of the country, to go somewhere new, somewhere so that the environment is completely different. So say if you live in the UK, like I do, to go somewhere hot and tropical is really to go, I'm somewhere very different to my everyday. So it feels fresh and new. And it also allows people to experience themselves differently in this whole different environment. That's not to say that it's entirely necessary, as I said earlier, and we'll come back to that. But I think that's why a lot of people want to. And also it can make the experience much more kind of comfortable and luxurious. If you're in a hotter country, wearing lighter clothes, being outside, being in the sun, being in nature more, it can feel way more relaxing and restorative than, say, going to Iceland. which would be a whole different level of retreat. So coming away from your normal everyday work, obligations, as we said, routines. You're coming away from your normal routines. You'll be eating different food, getting up at a different time, probably wearing different clothes, especially if you're on a yoga retreat. You're going to wear much more loose, comfortable, floaty, flowing clothing. You're not going to be in your, say, I don't know if anyone wears a suit to work anymore, but if you wear smart clothes to an office job, they are gone. You're going to walk around with bare feet every day on your retreat. And again, I think that's about experiencing yourself in a different way. It's almost like putting on a different personality or allowing a different part of you to come to the forefront. And that again is a really important part of retreat, because in our everyday we wear our different faces, we play our different roles at work, as a mum, as a wife, as a husband, as a leader, whatever it is, all these different roles we play. When you go on retreat, you can strip back those roles, and you can, especially if you're with a whole group of entire strangers, you can be whatever you want to be. And that can be really, really liberating. So you're experiencing yourself entirely differently in an entirely different environment with new people. Very refreshing, can be inspiring and empowering. And this is where you can really start to find out more about what makes you tick, and about the parts of you that you might have been hiding, blocking, suppressing for whatever reason. These parts of you can come to the forefront more and more. And what a beautiful thing that is, to be able to express that. One of the most important things I think about being on retreat is coming back to that, who you're on retreat with. Now, if you've gone on retreat and you've spent some money, it's likely that you've really researched who you're going with, the type of activities that you'll be doing, whether it's yoga or whether it's a cooking class in the south of France. That can also be a retreat experience. But say it's yoga, it might be the teacher that you see weekly, that you know and trust, and you're going to have an amazing time. Or it might be a teacher that you followed on Instagram for a long while, or a friend's recommendation. The important thing is that before you go, really find out what your experience is going to be like, the themes, the activities, the tone of the retreat, so that you can really get the most out of the experience. And when you do that, which most people will do, because they want to get the most out of it, and if they're spending their money, they want their money's worth, then you're going to more than likely end up in the presence of some really beautiful, like-minded people, as was the experience for me on the most recent retreat I went on. Now, for me, we were all different ages. The youngest person there it was a women's retreat, and the youngest lady was 23, I think. And then I think the oldest was in her late 50s. So we were quite a mix of ages, all walks of life, very, very different backgrounds, different professions. But we were all there with one purpose. And the sisterhood and the connection after that retreat that was made and is still being maintained now, in a slightly different way, of course, group dynamics, but was so intense and so beautiful. And these are people that I would never have met in my everyday life, in my everyday circles. And when you have these shared experiences, especially if your retreat is really quite spiritual or pushes you to your physical limits, or transformative in any way, if you're doing any kind of deep dive meditation, spirit-wise, therapeutically, whatever it is, you really will be finding your way with all these other lovely people who are just like you, like-minded. And you can really make some very beautiful connections and some new community, which you, like I said, you wouldn't otherwise make just going about your daily business. And these communities really can turn into Sangha and Satsang, like-minded, beautiful people to connect with. And the other thing is that the learning that we can gain from the people that we retreat with is just incredible. The insights, the shared stories, the camaraderie, the love, the connection is just so powerful. And I think going on retreat on your own is the very best thing in my mind that you can do, because you will literally talk to way more people than if you go with, let's say, a bunch of friends or even a friend. If you've known me for a while, you'll know that I advocate traveling alone, solo travel, safely, of course, day after day after day after day, because I did it for nearly 2 years, and it really is so powerful and so beautiful on so many levels. It builds a massive amount of self-reliance, self-trust. It's very empowering. It's confidence building, but it also means that you meet the most incredible people and you reach out and ask people for help. Whereas if you're with your friends, you can, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're with your friends or your partner, then you will rely on them, and it's much more kind of closed. There's a slightly closed-mindedness that comes with that. Whereas if you're on your own, you have to ask strangers for help. And that is mind-expanding, heart-opening, just character-building, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And it really does remind you of how wonderful humankind can be, which, let's face it, we all need that reminder, especially at the moment. We can just get too bogged down in the negativity and the bad news. So if you're going to go on retreat, I'd suggest go on your own. You will probably meet the most amazing people. The most amazing people. Maybe lifetime friends. Who knows? The main thing about retreats is this sense of withdrawal and this sense of taking time for yourself. So I think it's so powerful to take some time for yourself. And in sense of talking about yoga retreat, in a retreat experience that's done really well, with plenty of meditation, looking at texts, with a really good teacher to guide you, you can have some very profound spiritual experiences, aha moments, and really meet yourself in a different way. And when you meet yourself in a different way, when you experience yourself differently, when you get back home, your whole world will look and seem different because your perspective has shifted. Sometimes this isn't always welcome. And when you go back home and people experience this different person, it can be a little adjustment period and a little strange. But those that are closest to you and really care and love for you will be there to greet you however you appear, especially when it's positive, a very positive shift. So I think to retreat is more than just withdrawal. It's more than just coming away. You're actually visiting yourself in a different environment. You're opening your heart and your mind to new experiences, new people, new perspectives, new learnings about yourself. And you're inviting a sense of new, experiencing yourself in a different way, on a different level, to go deeper and deeper into who you are as a person. What makes you tick? What makes you feel good? You know, time and time again, people will go away and retreat, come back home and go, oh my God, I need to quit my job, get a divorce, move country, whatever. Because they've had a different perspective. Now, I would say, and this is something that our retreat leader said to us, she said, sleep on it. Take a week or two. Don't make any rash decisions. And I think that is very, very good advice. So if you come home and you think, I need a divorce, wait a while. Let it all settle down. Let it integrate. Speak to a therapist or a healer or somebody who you can speak to. And then if the feeling is still there after a week or two, then take the action. But it's a very, very common experience because you've seen another side of life. You've experienced yourself in a different way. And all those blocks and all those things you've been holding back might have come to the surface as they needed to be naturally expressed. Parts of your personality, emotions that have been buried, parts of you that need to feel joy and that haven't felt joy for a really long time. One of the things that happened to me on my retreat was my laughter came back. It's been a heavy couple of years. My dad died in January, and before that it's just been a little bit heavy for various different reasons. And on retreat, I had this huge laugh out of nowhere, just massive, booming, dirty laugh, which I do have, by the way. Just came out of nowhere, and it felt so liberating and so, my body, my heart, my mind, my soul just went, I needed that. Where has that been? So I'm going to say it again, retreats allow you to experience yourself differently. They now allow a natural unfolding of what is not being allowed or is not being allowed in your day-to-day life, because we have to work and we have to do this and we have to do that and we have to do blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. We can't be freely expressing ourselves in the way that perhaps we would really like to every day. Or can we? Just going to throw that in there. So do you need to spend thousands of pounds and go to Bali to be on retreat? My answer would be absolutely not. So if that's your choice, amazing. I think as long as you make time for yourself to do that, once a year, every couple of years, whenever feels best for you, incredible. But these days you can also do lots of day retreats, which I think is a really beautiful, really accessible way to do it. Lots of people are setting up these lovely yoga day retreats where you can go in the morning and have a whole day to yourself, lunch provided, yoga, meditation, massage, maybe Ayurveda, you name it. But I also think that you can experience yourself differently in your own country and just in a different setting. There are lots of beautiful retreats in the British Isles. Really, really lovely. And we're so lucky here that, you know, you can be in Wales or Scotland and feel like you're in a different country, as in geographically very, very different place with different cultures, gorgeous landscapes, different people. But I do also think it's possible to create a little bit of a retreat at home for yourself. Now, it won't be as intense or transformative or revealing as if you really take yourself away to a different environment. But I do think that you can create little retreat space at home. And all you need is a little bit of quiet, a little space on your own, and the mindset of experiencing yourself differently, coming away from your normal routines and doing something different. For a lot of people, the yoga mat is a daily retreat. And I'm going to be talking more about the yoga mat and how one of my teachers, all of my teachers have described the yoga mat as a sacred space in one way or another, but how one of my teachers describes it as its own quantum field, which I absolutely adore. The yoga mat can be its own retreat space, and for 20 minutes, an hour, 10 minutes, whatever time you give it, daily, once weekly, whatever it may be, you can experience yourself entirely differently, and you can allow yourself space to be different, to be, number one, in the moment, and to allow whatever you're not expressing to perhaps come to the fore. And if you can't allow, then you can invite by doing a simple check-in. How am I feeling in this moment physically? How am I experiencing my mind, my mental activity in this moment? What emotions am I experiencing here and now? So, my friends, I think there are lots of ways to retreat. And even if it is as simple as having your house to yourself for a day or two, when your partner and your kids have gone away, whatever that looks like for you, taking a bath in the middle of the afternoon, putting your phone away as much as possible, eating really beautiful, healthy foods, doing your yoga practice, not watching TV, but listening to music or reading, doing the things that you wouldn't normally do to create a sense of spaciousness, a sense of quiet, a sense of restoration, a sense of being nurturing for yourself. Maybe get a massage, get someone to come to your house, give you a nice massage. Anything that makes you feel different in a good way. So I hope you get to retreat soon, however that looks for you. And have a beautiful Diwali holiday if you celebrate, and even if you don't, perhaps light a candle tonight. And I'm wishing you all so much love and light, and I'll speak to you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Be Still and Notice podcast. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and perhaps it even added something to your life. If you know someone that might benefit, please share this episode with them, and of course a review would be so much appreciated. Please find all the information relating to this episode, including relevant links, in the show notes. And until next time, sending you so much love and light on your path to yoga.